Hello, hello, future self and friends on YouTube, I guess. Just wanted to create this video to talk about my Demonform build. This is probably my favorite build that I've ever played in PoE2 in general. I only have about 15 minutes to get this before it moves to standard, and just wanted to kind of talk about why this has gone from something I never played before to probably my favorite archetype in the game going forward, unless something, really good comes out. But anyways, this is a Demonform caster. Basically how this works is it is an AoE stacking caster that mostly casts Frostbolt with Snake Pit. Snake Pit, which is this unique ring here, has some unique features that make it so that the Frostbolt, which would normally pierce through enemies, instead of piercing, just explodes. So what happens is that if you are in a smaller area where a lot of enemies are close to you, it just like shotguns everything around like a pretty wide AoE. And because I have the wild charge thing that makes this come out in a circle every number of casts, like kind of randomly, but overall you can see it's pretty consistent. You just get a crazy amount of AoE from this. And this is also a cast-on build. Yes, I know, it's a cast-on comet build, where essentially we use cast-on elemental ailment, which you get to proc through the ascendancy that in combination. So I'm casting a frost skill, but I have this node that says all the damage that I do ignites and has increased magnitude. I'm also using this node here that makes it so that every time I deal a critical hit, which is most hits, I take 15% of my maximum life as fire damage per second and get 50% more critical damage bonus. And then I'm using this to essentially cheat mana, which is Pyromagnetic Pact, which adds a lot of kind of cool interactions with the build, and most importantly, the Dami Mami Demonform mode, which gives me a lot of extra cast speed. Like, this is many nodes worth of extra cast speed and extra spell damage per demon flame, which while you only have this node and don't have the next node, you'll get up to 10 demon flames, so that is 30% spell damage and 25% cast speed. But more importantly, when you are in demon form, you take like 18 damage per demon flame, so this is like 180 damage per second that I'm taking in order to stay in demon form. But it is just so fast, it is so comfy. And the whole point of this entire build is just to make a very nice mapper that can just deal damage in huge AoEs around you. In addition, I've got the staff here, the Palm of the Dreamer, which makes everything explode into chaos explosions with 100% chance, essentially as if I had a Boom Shrine all the time. It is a good bosser. I wouldn't say that it is like a great bosser. The main thing with bossing is just you have to do a lot of abilities. So you've got to do Frost Bomb, then Spell Slinger. This does a lot. Like, I might put some things in the demo that show you like how much negative resistance this does. Like, I think the Frost Bomb can do a maximum of like 85 negative resistance with how I have the tree set up. And then when I have a Spell Slinger up from casting spells, this casts both the Firestorm thing with infusions and also casts the negative resistance spell. So it's like minus negative 35 and minus like 85 resistance. So I'm putting like every tough enemy to like negative 110 resistance. And because of that, I can still do like probably like 13 million damage in a handful of seconds. I don't know exactly how much, but like it's enough, trust me. It's enough to do Uber Arbiter, it's enough to do Simulacrum, it's enough to do a T16 Citadel boss with good mods so that you have Waystone drop chance. So like it's enough, bottom line. You do need like a little bit of investment, which is why to run the build kind of how I have it right now is probably not a good league starter. I am actually probably going to league start Demonform on the start, but I'll play plants or something else that's like a little bit easier to get, because basically this build doesn't work with the Frostbolt thing without the snake pit. And you also just need like a bunch of very specially crafted gear. You could think of the specially crafted gear as like a good thing or a bad thing. Like, I actually found it very interesting to do, because almost all of the gear that you need to run this build is gear that will, unless this is popular, and it's probably like, it's too complicated to really be popular, to be honest. Like, there's too many weird drawbacks and things that you have to adjust. So why do I say that? Is the amount of Demon Flame, how this mechanic works is, you see this marker going up on the bottom right of the screen. This is Demon Flame equal, or Infernal Flame equal to the amount of mana that I would have had. So basically what you want to actually make this work is you want to have as little mana as possible, and you want to have as much recoup and as much fire res as possible. This build, the way that I have it built right now, is probably not good enough fire res. I'll maybe put like a PoE, like a Ninja Link or a PoB in here, but I essentially don't have any extra fire res. That's one thing that I might change with like with my jewels and stuff if I play this next league and actually use the Infernal Flame. But essentially what you want, which is very different than every other caster, essentially every other caster, you want to maximize your mana, and you know, if you're mana stacking, you want to use that for life. But in demon form, you're pretty much just using your energy shield and life entirely, and you need to find ways to recoup your energy shield. And you'll see, I could probably like go into a map here, and I have a lot of recoup. Let's see, just put a random map here with no things. Like, I could probably like stand inside most mobs, and my recoup is so high that it's not going to matter at all. So I get into demon form. Okay. Let's see, can these guys kill me? So the bottom line with this build is it has really good recovery, and because the AoE is so good and I'm using Palm of the Dreamer, like, you can absolutely obliterate Breach. And Breach was probably, other than doing Temple, like the best mechanic that you could do before. And so this is a Breach obliterator. This is a map obliterator. In Temple, it's actually pretty good as well. The only thing it's like not amazing at is bossing, but it's still like, it gets the job done in bossing for sure. So I guess I'll portal out and kind of show you guys some of the special gear. Like, most of the gear, like, I've had to craft myself for this, which is kind of fun in its own way. But in order to actually get the recoup up to that level, what you need is you need this special crafted mod on your helmet. I actually didn't have this till late, but this is just really good. This can actually roll up to 20, but I had already spent like 400 divines trying to roll this. Essentially what you do to craft a lot of the special gear for this is you just you get a tri-res, like S tier piece of armor, and then you force the desecrate on the suffix, and then you try and roll the suffix and Omen of Light it until you're able to get the recoup mod that you want. Or at least that's how you do the helmet. Here you have to use like a perfect essence of fire or something like that, I think it's called. It's one of the perfect essences that the belt effect is that 25% of fire damage is recouped at life as life. The Infernal Flame always does fire damage to you, so that's what you want. Here you have to waste one of your slots in order to gain the increased recoup speed. This really does matter. And then you also want to keep, like I used fractured recoup as life on this amulet. And otherwise this is close to Abyss Amulet, but there is, yeah, I guess you could change a couple mods, but having high cast speed on this build, like, there isn't any bad mod on this amulet here. I maybe could have improved it. This, obviously, if it was like a multi-socket, would be better. This, if it had more lightning res, I wouldn't have to use so many lightning runes on things, which would also definitely be better. I think I'm using like 4 lightning runes on this build in order to get my lightning res to the right amount. And then this is the biggest thing. The 120 mana that I have on this wand is so shitty. Like, it's probably making it so that I have to get more of these other things in order to make up for it, because you want like really high pool, high ES, like ES recharge rate and stuff like that doesn't matter, but you just need high pool of life and ES. So you just want life, ES, gold damage. That's what you want. Your next damage dealer is essentially going to be Comet. And Comet, funny enough, you actually need to make it cost life. Otherwise, you'll kill yourself immediately all the time. And kind of the weirdest thing, which is like why this can be a really weird league starter if you've like never played it before, is just that when you are playing a trigger skill like cast on elemental ailment, I'm doing every elemental ailment. Like if I'm doing a boss, the rotation is the debuffs on resistance, the frost bomb and the negative resistance, which are going to like 110, 120 negative resistance combined. Then I do thunderstorm, which is guaranteed shock. I mean, with negative 120 resistance, I think post patch notes they're gonna have it's not going to be guaranteed shock, but I still probably will be able to shock with it anyways, because it just hasn't, like, everything is going to have no resistance. And then cast on elemental ailment. If I was actually putting all of this to the Infernal Flame, it would kill me immediately. Like, when you are creating so many elemental ailments and comets, like, even with, like, barely having any cost efficiency things, this I actually only put in recently after, like, doing all the gear upgrades that I needed. Like, after being able to put in the helmet, I only upgraded the Comet in here to a level 20 Comet. This could actually go one higher. Recently, after getting like some of the 400 divine crafts done. But essentially I'm alternating Comet and Living Bomb in here, because Living Bomb gives fire infusions, and then fire infusions create the fire infused comets that like basically give it double damage. So that's what I'm doing here. And then if you don't have Atalu's Bloodletting, you know, it's like a 200 divine support. Like, you just have to put life tap in this. Otherwise, like, you will fucking tap yourself out of existence. Like, this build has more deaths than almost every build that I've ever played, and I still love it. The problem is just, like, as you're building this, like, probably 180 of these deaths are just me killing myself, like, with my own damage, just because I'm casting so much and the Infernal Flame is so much. But the Infernal Flame actually works whether you're in demon form or not, but just the extra cast speed is what really makes it work. But overall, I'll try to overlay some video, etc. This is like just an absolute dream to play. Like, it has some problems. There are some things that you can't take advantage of because you're this type of caster. So, for example, you can't mana stack, you can't use Mind Over Matter and stuff like that. The tree is pretty cool. I'll go over the tree just because I think there's only 1 minute. I just saw the thing off GGG. So basically in this tree, I could have more damage than I have. I'm using like the energy shield nodes up here. Cast speed is really important to keep your shit up. Essentially, my weapon swap that you see here is just red for extra critical damage bonus and critical nodes. These are for all my main skills. And then green for the weapon swap skills, which are just for frost bombs. So you've got 10 exposure effect, 10 exposure effect, 30 exposure effect. And then elemental damage, exposure effect, and exposures are lower by 5%, which is all really good. And then everything else is just crit nodes. I've got one trigger skill node here, which is pretty good. And then this gem, which is absolutely crucial. You cannot run this without it. Oh, boo. Okay, maybe I'll go to POB and... Okay, so this gem basically makes it, as long as you have the right type, makes it so that you don't get any mana, because you don't want mana. You just want it to give you evasion rating instead. I'm not actually an evasion character, but just having that mana reduced is like super important. And then the From Nothing is probably the next most important here. And then I've got a Poor Boy FrostBolt Prism of Belief, which should be +3, but is +2 right now. +3 would be way better for this build. The other notable things on the tree, you know, you need to get your recoup here and here and here. But other than that, you're pretty much just taking int, you're taking crit, you're taking just enough to get your shit off. You actually want to increase your mana cost of skills, so the increase in mana cost of skills here is good. The increase of mana cost of skills is here good, because you want your Demon Flame going off as much as possible so that your recoup effects are as juiced as possible all the time. And then because I'm doing Constant Ignite because of the Infernalist Ascendancy, I'm just taking this for Ignite Magnitude. Everything has -5 fire res this ignited, increased AoE, and 70% increased energy shield from equipped helmet. All of these nodes are really good value for 4 points in a jewel. People will all that I hit is I think this build does a lot more damage than this. Like, I can easily kill a boss that has like 13 million HP in single digits of seconds. So this is basically just like the frostbolt damage that white mobs will take. I'm not good enough at PoB to actually make it take into account when I'm casting Frostwall and I have negative 115 res on everything. So it doesn't look great. It's not amazing looking on tooltip, but it gets the job done, trust me. So that's about it. Can't think of anything else that I missed here. I guess I might talk about like what I would fix in terms of gear. Obviously the main thing is just like taking the mana off the wand. If I knew, I'd just swap that wand from like a different build that I was playing before. So it wasn't really made for demon form, but it was still like the best like +5 wand that I could get for the price that I could afford at the time. Let me see here in terms of items. The amulet could definitely be better. Helmet couldn't be much better. Yeah, I guess a higher roll on the recruit mod would be nice. But other than that, it's like pretty close to base gear. Like if I had actually just like not quit the league after a month last time and only started playing the speedrun lately, this build would have been a lot better. It's definitely like the most fun build to play. Like I've still gone back and played it like several nights since I came back in anticipation of the new season. I kind of quit to go to PoE1 and do my first like real legit PoE1 league, but it was really fun. I think this next league is going to be amazing. I'm a little scared because they took away the Recombinator, which was how I did almost half my drafts. But overall, I think it's going to be really fun, and I do expect to enjoy my leveling with Demon Form this time. I think I'm just going to play like plants and just giga-fuck every boss with Bonestorm for a little while, and I might switch to Lich or something later. I kind of want to do like a lightning warping thing where you just lightning warp to every enemy and kill everything, and then you just need to have like one cheesy bossing skill. That's probably how I'm gonna go. But overall, Fate of the Val League got a lot of hate. Didn't deserve as much hate as it got. And overall, it was a really fun league. I even went back and did a lot of temple, even like right up until this last day. And I think temple was fun. I don't know how fun it's going to be, but I thought this would be a good time capsule edition. I think I've made one time capsule for pretty much every league. And so, just for posterity, hope anyone that actually watched this did get a little something out of it. If you like casters, very much recommend Demon Form. It's not easy. You probably, if you're new to the game, you don't want to play this, but if you know how to craft, like, it's fun. It's really fun. So, alright, that'll be all. Thank you.